Hey guys, welcome to the last week of this session. Excited to kind of bring us back together a little bit. I kind of wanted to do a quick recap of things and kind of go back through what we've gone through this first 8 weeks because I think it's something that we're going to repeat and continue for the April and maybe July session. We'll see. But I wanted to kind of bring us back to the first meeting when we started talking about rules of relationship. We talked about the 7 confidence rules of what it means to truly hear from God. We talked about compass points. We talked about the 3 things you need to grow. We talked about the golden moment. In this most recent session, the first 3 weeks, we've talked about the grace versus law or performance. We've talked about survival mode and survival mode versus living and what it looks like to make a different choice than maybe what you would make otherwise. This last week and kind of what's going to lead us into the next couple of months as we hopefully are getting together between these 4-week sessions is how do we help each other? This is a hard journey. It's a hard road. This is living differently than we probably have lived most of our lives. And the opportunity here is to make some decisions to change some ruts that I think we all find ourselves in on a day-to-day basis. But it's hard, and it might even be impossible to do on our own. So the question begs, how do we use this community that we're building to help each other be successful in the journeys that we're each on specifically? And with this group of people, my hope is that there is a growing level of comfort with more bodies than what maybe you were accustomed to before it started, to give you more opportunities to be reaching out. So what I want to do is I want to pose a couple of questions for us tonight. And the idea here is to really dig in a bit and maybe risk being a little bit more vulnerable than we have been so far, to really set the stage for this next 2 months where hopefully some conversations can reach some new levels. But question number 1 is, are you somebody that does a good job at reaching out when things are hard, or sharing the things that you feel like you need help with? Is that difficult for you or not, and why? Question number 2, when you are reaching out, are you somebody that, when somebody's reached out to you, are you somebody that goes to God first before you respond? Or do you just respond out of the very nature and wisdom of what you've discovered with your life? And what would it look like, kind of a follow-up to that question, what would it look like for you to be able to check in with God first and see what that would look like? And then I wanted to throw a third question in there surrounding the idea of, have you had any success or failures when trying to help somebody, both when you have gone to God or when you haven't? Have you noticed anything? I think one of the biggest things that our community can learn how to do from each other and for each other is how to reveal God to one another when God feels difficult for us to see or talk to in the moment of whatever's going on. It's an exercise that needs lots of training and lots of trial runs and probably a lot of failure, which is why this group is so important. Because now we're in a position where the failure doesn't define who we are, so we freely get to try and be for each other what we feel God is asking us to be. So that's kind of the challenge I want to throw down to us this week, and then I also want it to carry forward into the next couple of months. And I really want to challenge people to connect often and be willing to go to the level that you feel like God is asking you to go to, both this week in the meeting and moving forward with the conversations after this week. Thanks, guys.